Hey guys, happy Friday. It's operations time over here today. It's finally cooled off somewhat in Southern California, and despite a little bit of chaos here in the house, we're doing operations over here. And if you hear a lot of noise in the background, we got the leaf blower guy out someplace next door, so don't mind that. But let's get to the action over here. As you can see, here is our hauler. They dropped off all these cars last time around. Now I took all the car cards and just kind of set them out over there, and we're gonna first determine what industries these guys are gonna get put into. So I'm gonna put the camera down over here for a minute, get a sip of my coffee, and figure out what I'm gonna be doing here. Let's see. Yummy, by the way. I got the appropriate coffee cup here today. Let's see here, what Ben is over there watching TV. Let's just take a look over there. He's watching, what's he watching? Burr Stewart, of course. Right, Ben? He's a little soaking wet right there. He was just playing in the yard with the hose. All right, anyway, so we got a bunch of cars. We got to pick out what industries they're going to be going to here. Now, normally I do that sometimes beforehand, and then I select the cars from my little stack up there on top of the shelf. So I already know where they're going, but you know, it's been a little bit crazy here in the summertime, so I just didn't do that. I just randomly grabbed a bunch of cars that I wanted to switch, and now we got to figure out where they're going to be going. So I guess the best way to do this is to come over here, just take a look at the cars. So we got two tank cars, looks like they're both chemical cars, and let's find an industry that can use those. Well, right here in orange, these guys get chemicals over here. We can also walk over here. You know, Titan Transfer, or they get everything over here. Any kind of tank car this industry gets right here is a little transload facility, so they get everything. And that's pretty much it for tank cars, at least chemical. We usually drop off an oil car over here, but we don't have any over there. And these guys, this is, what is this? Shasta Beverage, I believe. And they get food grade stuff. So nothing over here. We can either do this one here. I think I'm gonna do orange over here. So we gotta pick out, and maybe I won't bore you with this whole process, but at least I'll show you the first two cars right here. So I got my big stack of cards for all of my industries. These are my way bills right here. Two positions, so it's just the industry and staging, which I'm calling West Colton here. All right, so we got to go over to orange, which is over here, and that's what is that? That's not Westpac. That's FXI. I can't even remember the industries I have. Yeah, FXI. So let me just there we go. Like I said, I won't bore you with the whole thing here, but we got tank car. There's one, so I'm going to hold that, and we got another tank car way bill. So let me put these back in order over here. All right, so that is how, make sure you can see that. So that's how, at least that's one way I'm going to be doing it here. So we got one guy going to there. We got another guy going to there. There we go. All right, so we got the first two cars down. I'm going to go do that with all the rest of the cars here. And then we'll start kind of sorting these guys out over here. All right, guys, so I have picked way bills and stuck them into each one of my car cards over here. And now we got to do a little bit of mental gymnastics to kind of figure out how we're going to split this train up. I just went kind of totally random, just stuff that I kind of felt like maybe mixing up a little bit, a few industries that I haven't done in a while. But so here's where my little layout picture kind of comes into play here, looking at the color codes of the different locations. They match up with the color codes on the way bills, right? You know, so like FXI is orange, you know, Surfer's Outlet is blue or light blue right there. Aqua, I guess that's called. And we can kind of try to split these cars up sort of, you know, in some logical order. So we can basically, I think we're going to end up with 3 locals. We'll split these guys off into 3 different locals based on where they're going. And usually what I do is I'll do everything going into orange, you know, it doesn't matter what industry here, they're all going to get stacked together. Huntington Beach can get stacked together, and they might mix in with anything going into the green section, which is Anaheim, and then Cerritos and La Mirada can kind of get put together too. Now, as you know, over here, my track layout here is, you know, there's industries in the background, there's industries in the foreground, so sometimes it's not always the same local that's going to do industries in the background that's going to do industries in the foreground. But for today's little demonstration, I think we'll just keep it nice and simple, and we're going to split the cars off in sort of a logical manner, right? So I'm going to collect up all my cars here. Let's see, we'll put them like this, because we're going to start at the back end over there, and we'll get our did I get 2 cards here? Nope, that one kind of felt a little thick. All right, and we'll get our we'll get our little yard goat here fired up and get on our way. Let's start doing some operations here. All right, there we go, power. Let me go ahead and find him. That's whatever it is, 4825. So let me grab him on my my controller. While I do that, hopefully everybody has had a good week. Mine over here has been exciting. There we go. All right, let's see, brakes, sound. We'll get that guy fired up. Yeah, I had, you know, well, first of all, it was hot again, unfortunately. We hit like 103 or something yesterday, but finally next week we're gonna be in the like 80s. So I can't wait. I'm gonna get my bridge down here in the background, get my turnouts kind of set up. Let's go ahead. No lights on this guy again, unfortunately. Let me see if I'm going in the right direction. There we go. And I'll put the camera down here because we're going to be rolling back and forth here. But yeah, it was kind of hot, and then my drain for my HVAC system got plugged up, and water started, you know, condensation drain plugged up, and so water kind of started pouring out and going all over the place. Yeah, it was a big mess. You know, first world problems kind of thing. So I kind of got that squared away, and now I just want to relax and run trains here. So we'll get this guy backed out over here. We'll grab our line of cars. Ooh, that tsunami too in there does sound good. I don't know what that was. I think I had a car over here last time that did a little, had a little bit of noise right there. I'm not quite sure if there's like a little piece of gravel or something. A little ballast someplace in one of the turnouts. All right. Whew. Let's start backing these guys out. So, again, I got my little order of cars here as we're backing out. Starting with the last car. So this is the last car in this line, because that's the way we're going to divvy them up. And I think what we'll do is we'll use 3 of the tracks. Like I said, I'm just going to split them up into the 3 different locations that the cars are going. We'll see how long this takes. Now, actually, what we can do is we can kind of already start here. So, I might keep my cards someplace where you can kind of see them here. There we go. Somewhat visible. All right, so the first car, which is our last car right there, is going to Shasta Beverage. That is in Anaheim. Of course I gotta start this the kind of funky way, because like I said, Anaheim over there in that in the location here, I'm gonna show you. Anaheim is this green section, right? So basically any car going down to Orange might be doing some Anaheim work, or any car or local going down to Huntington Beach can do that work too. And actually sometimes we can actually tag it on to cars that are going up, working up here. So, of course, the first one off the bat here is a little tricky, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to disconnect them right here on this track, and this is going to be the track that all these cars are going to be going to. So, there's the first one. How am I going to do this? I'm just going to make a little pile here. All right, next car, this hopper is going to Westpac. That's down to Orange. So I'm going to put that on a separate track. I'm going to kind of try to keep it a little bit divided up. We'll figure out who's going to be taking the that last hopper there we just cut off. But being that he's going to Shasta Beverage, that's really more conducive to because it's along the fascia. It's really more conducive to cars that are going into La Mirada. You're not really seeing anything over here. There we go. Woo. Yeah, some of these cars here are kind of doing a little clickety click right there over that turnout. Now I'll put that camera right there. All right, let's see. Westpac, yeah. Westpac is orange, so we'll cut that off. Try to kind of keep these in some sort of an order here, track order. All right, then we got Titan Transfer. Now see, this is where this gets a little tricky because Titan Transfer is over there by La Mirada and Cerritos, which I think is going to be good to go with that very first hopper. So I'm actually going to put that car with that. There we go. And it just so happens that the next boxcar over here is also going to Shasta Beverage, so we can drop two of these guys off right there. I think I got to do a little bit of vacuuming here. The cars are kind of bouncing around a little bit. Whoa, take it easy there, Engineer Rick. All right, next car, Southern Wine. All right, I think what I'm going to do is put, and again, I'm thinking in my head, you know, what would be a good local for doing that. I think Southern Wine, believe it or not, can probably be done with the same train that goes to Orange. So I'm going to do that. Let me see, does that work? Yeah, I think so. Because to get to Orange, you got to drive right by Southern Wine. You know what I mean? So that will go there. And you can see we're actually kind of mixing it up a little bit here, more than I thought I would. Now we got a gondola over here. Let me see if you can kind of see this a little bit more. Like that, it's better, I guess. All right, so the next car, this gondola, is actually going, that's another one of those cars, man, anybody can do that. I think I'm gonna put that with anything going to Huntington Beach, which we have not yet come across. So I'm going to put the gondola on his own track. I'm swinging you around here. Let me pop you over here. And of course, already the camera's overheating. Go figure. Has it been that long? So let me get this gondola dropped off. I'll let the camera cool off, and then we'll get back into it here. That's how warm it is over here. I don't know what it is in the garage, but I'm breaking a little sweat. Whew. Too much thinking for me for a Friday, man. All right, we'll drop the gondola off right here. So that's actually going to be its own track, and then we'll keep on going here. All right, we're back from the refrigerator. Yes, believe it or not, I took my camera and I just stuck it in the refrigerator for like 5 minutes. All right, I don't know where we left off. Let's see, we're dropping off the gondola. That one's going to Sanford and Son all by himself. So the next car over here is Southern Wine. Ooh, let's see, that one's gonna go, well, we already got a Southern Wine, this guy right here. So let's disconnect our gondola and hopefully be heading in the right direction. Yep. Yeah, while the camera was cooling off in the refrigerator, I told you it's hot over here, man. Not kidding you. I actually put the camera in the fridge, but what was I gonna say? I don't recall, because it's just one of those kind of days. It'll come to me in a second here. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to say. While the camera was cooling off in the fridge, I just took a quick look at the comments, and one of the comments that I hadn't replied to yet, but it was somebody saying, "Summer's over. Get back to running trains," something to that effect. And it's like, my camera is in the refrigerator, dude. I'm telling you, it gets hot over here. All right, there we go. I'm gonna back you up even more without knocking everybody over. Let me see. All right, Southern Wine, we'll put that one there. Then we got Surfer's Outlet. Let's see. Did we get anybody heading down that direction yet? Let me take a look here. This is where some prior planning might help. Okay, Westpac, that's all going to Orange and Southern Wine. These guys are going towards the interior of La Mirada, Cerritos, and so forth. Surfer's Outlet, I think these guys can go with, let me see here, Surfer's Outlet, yeah, this guy, they can go with the same train that's going to do Sanford and Sons Gondola here, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, we got Surfer's Outlet, actually, oh, 3 of them. The next 3, this is going to go pretty quick here now, because the next 3 cars are all going to Surfer's Outlet. I'm not going to bother about sorting them right this second. Let me get you situated again. Oh boy, let's see, I'm knocking over my my Beamer. Little car right there. All right, that way. Fun, fun, fun. You know, I've always said this before, I'll say it again. I love yard work. And I remember when I was, you know, building this thing it's been like 4.5 years or something. I didn't think I needed a yard. I thought maybe I'd just kind of do staging over here, and that's why this little yard kind of just started up as a couple of tracks. And it was just going to be staging right here until, you know, I watched other people doing yard work, and I'm like, oh, it seems kind of boring. You just stand in one place and cars go back and forth and everything. And once I had the couple of tracks over here for my sort of staging yard that we're playing in right now, I realized, hey, this is kind of fun. I like yard work. And that's when I doubled the size. So the original layout only went up to here, and I added another foot. It was only 1 foot, but I added all the other stuff and created the yard here. So let's see, our last 2 cars now are going to FXI. That's down by the fascia over there, so they're gonna go into the 3rd, or well, whatever, into this pile here. All the guys that are heading down there, they're gonna be doing that Shasta Beverage and Titan Transfer, all that stuff. Now the interesting thing, just with the way I pick this out, because usually, like I said, what I do is I just kind of go to one location. I pick a bunch of industries to switch out. I pick the cars. But this is the first time I just kind of randomly derailed my my guy here. Hold on, stay on there. Yeah, something is inside of this little rail right here. I gotta clean that out. Anyway, it's the first time I just kind of randomly picked a bunch of cars and then randomly picked a bunch of industries. And we're all done right there. We got all our cars done. But it's kind of interesting that the 3 different sort of, what do you call it? The 3 different locals that I've kind of set up over here, they've got a really good mix of locations that they're going to, but they make logical sense. You know, that's kind of neat. I never kind of came across that. You know, like these guys are going to Orange, Anaheim. I think that's Cerritos, La Mirada, and then Anaheim. We got to kind of switch those around a little bit, but yeah, that's kind of neat. You know, there's usually the whole train is just almost one color for the most part. But there you go. We are done. We have split this up into 3 locals, and all we got to do is shut down over here. I'm going to shut him down right now because I'm tired of listening to him. Let me shut all this stuff down over here. Oh, by the way, somebody was asking to do a review on this. Now I know there's new people that come in and stuff like that, but if you look at my channels, like if you got a question, like, hey, how do you like this thing or whatever, I'm just gonna leave it right there. I've probably already done a video on your question, so it's a good thing to go check in my playlist right there. I have 3 different playlists. One that's just operations, one that's kind of like how I do stuff, you know, which is more kind of scenery work or weathering cars, that sort of thing, you know, laying down track, ballasting, you know, all that mumbo jumbo. And then one is like layout updates, which is sort of, layout updates. But if you look in those playlists on my channel, more than likely your question is answered already someplace in there. So just a little heads up over there. All right, whew, that was fun. We're ready to roll over here. Benjamin's ready to roll. Let me grab my glasses. Let me get another sip of coffee over here. And we'll go take a look at Benjamin over here. He's been watching Burr Stewart's videos over here. I'm just playing a little playlist of his. I love Burr Stewart's channel. Just absolutely one of my favorite channels over there. All right, Benjamin, you ready to go? You want to go play with some water? Let's go play with some water. We're done. Hope everybody had a good time. If you don't want to watch the dog playing outside, you can tune out right now because we're going out there. All right, guys. Anyway, I figure I'll show Ben playing because usually he's just sitting on the couch looking like a little bump on a log over here. But his favorite thing to do is run with the hose, as you can see over here in the backyard. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'm gonna go play over here, cool Benjamin down, and enjoy the nice hot Southern California weather. Hey, you know what? Those mountains back there look kind of familiar. What do you think? All right, guys, till next time, have a good one.